Do you know what I like to do before I head out to Raleigh, North Carolina? I like to look at some baseball cards. How's it going, guys? I got to give a shout out to my man, Brent Richards. He did an impersonation of me on his video where he announces the winner of his contest. I was showing my wife. I said, you got to see this. And she's looking and she's like, what? And she's watching it. And I'm like, that's not me. And she's like, what? I totally thought that was your video. His impersonation was pretty on point. I'm going to put a link to that video, and you can check it out. And you might as well subscribe while you're over there if you're not already subscribed. He's friends with Greg over at Midlife Cards, but don't hold that against him. Hey, I'm just busting your chops. That's an inside joke from his impersonation of me. I got a clean sweep auction book here. And when I get these things, I kind of think I have a problem. So I have all those cards but one. Let's play a little game. Can you guess which one I don't have? You know, there's all these art cards that have become popular. Homemade cards, art cards. Topps makes the art cards. And I've always wanted to make my own card. You know, Topps has the Living Legends and the Project. They had the, Project 2020, Project 70. And on eBay, you could see all kind of homemade cards. My man Scott, Reindeer Studios. He has fantastic, homemade art. Fantastic homemade cards with his art. And I really don't have any art skill, but I wanted to make something special. Something that I could make a one-of-one of, and maybe it'll be worth something someday. So I made an art card of Ken Griffey Jr. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to pull a one-of-one down here. And man, if PSA gives this a 10, it could sell for $12 million. So my mom goes with her friends. They go to the Amazon Center. And I guess there's this thing where items that are returned are just stored at the Amazon Center, and they put them out and they sell everything for like $3. And so my mom and her friends go there and have a blast, spending a little bit of money and having some fun. And she picked this up for me. I never saw one before. It's a baseball card album. It's zippered. And it has 4 pocket pages. Now, a lot of the newer collectors, they couldn't possibly understand putting cards in a binder like some of us old vintage card collectors do. But I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to show you a few things. First, I had these 2 one-of-a-kind, one-of-ones laying around, and I wanted to show them to you. 1973 Carlton Fisk. And this is the only one like it, man. Look at that beautiful miscut. PSA thinks this is junk, but I think it's special. And Fergie Jenkins. One-of-one, man. Try to find another one like that.
I'm going to continue to talk about centering because that's something that I have a passion for.
All right, I got this beautiful 1974 Bert Campaneris Kellogg's card. This is a great card. Look at that baby.
Two-strike delivery. Ground ball in the hole is short. Campaneris up. Long throw. Got him. Fine play by Campaneris. Throwing to fleet Bobby Trollen-up. 3 up, 3 down. Campaneris has had quite a day. 3 hits, 3 times up. Stolen 2 bases, scored 2 runs. Campaneris delivers. Kubiak races home with Dick Green on second and 2 down in the 4th. Campaneris measures an Al Downing curveball, and the A's gain a 3-run advantage. 3-2. Base hit by Campaneris. All right, now we'll keep our eyes on Campaneris. He led the American League with 52 stolen bases. 6 times he's captured the American League base stealing title. There goes the runner. The strike, the throw. He's in there.
Gil McDougall rookie card. Fantastic. 1952 Bowman. Let's take a better look. How about a tombstone? 1995. Ken Griffey Jr. It's not as good as mine. Which one do you think's nicer? I sent this to Scott to see how, what he thought of it. I haven't heard back.
But I was super busy.
All right, I've been saying that the NFL does not do a good enough job of teaching its history. And so from now on, I'm going to do that. I want to bring to your attention a tight end who I could argue should be in the Hall of Fame. And that is Jerry Smith. Here's his card from 1973. Here's one from 1975. Jerry Smith, and he was a good tight end. And at the time of his retirement, he was the all-time leader in touchdowns as a tight end. He used to do this thing, and I'm going to put a link, like I always do, in the description, and you check him out for yourself. He used to do this thing where he would slide down on both knees to catch the ball a lot. And like in the end zone, he would do it, and it's a touchdown. In the field of play, if there wasn't somebody on him, he would slide, catch the ball, pop up, and run. Pretty unique. I never really saw a receiver, a tight end, do that.
Sonny Jurgensen once again to the air. His target, Jerry Smith. Good move here by Smith.
But, Vince Lombardi had gone to coach the Redskins. And when he was over there, he saw a guy with long hair playing a guitar. And his assistant coach, he said to his assistant coach, he said, "Who is that guy with the guitar?" And he said, "That's Jerry Smith." And Vince Lombardi said, "Oh, he's a good one. He can keep the guitar and the hair." Now, Jerry Smith here was he was really the first professional athlete to get AIDS and die from it. Tragically. This is a really good cornerback who played on some bad teams. And that's Brady Keys. He played for my Steelers. These are Philadelphia cards. Brady Keys, and he was very successful after football.
Now, one of the best of the defensive backs was a scrappy Steeler cornerback named Brady Keys. But because the Steelers were so lousy back then, his big plays seldom made the highlight reels. Well, we decided to track Brady down, and we found him in Albany, Georgia. Oddly enough, he was more celebrated off the field than he ever was on it.
Brady Keys, what we call it, the history in the making, the black pioneer. because I've been the first in so many things. Is the first black man to own a Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you look closely, I had my picture there instead of the Colonel, and my name underneath there instead of the Colonel. But the Colonel and I were such good friends. I mean, we were both pioneers. You know, we had something in common. My whole attitude about everything changed when I was on the football field. You can imagine, boy, that was the Brady Keys. When I was on the football field, I was no nice guy. My game plan when I went into play was not just to cover a receiver. That was not it. My game plan was to shut him out. When he got one pass on me, I was pissed. I tried to kill him after that. I tried to beat him up for catching that pass on me. But believe me, I was such a cocky little defensive back. I did not believe that anybody could beat me. I just didn't believe it. There was no rule against clotheslining, so I did it. There was no rule against chopping my little throat chop, so I did it. I invented things that the rules didn't cover. Is that dirty? I don't think so. The things I used to do, it put me out of the game nowadays. I wouldn't last a quarter. I wouldn't last any time. Why? Because I would stop the receiver. They don't want you to stop no receivers now. They want that receiver to run down and score touchdowns and the crowd holler and the television ratings go up. That's entertainment. And you had the audacity to ask me, was it rougher in the 60s? Give me a break. That's a funny question. Excuse me for laughing.
Leo Namalini, 1963 tops.
Named the best defensive tackle of pro football's first 50 years, Leo Namalini first played the game in the Marine Corps. After fighting with the Pacific Invasion Forces in World War II, Namalini signed on with the San Francisco 49ers. Son of an immigrant family, football allowed him to escape the poverty of Chicago's Northeast Side and attain unaccustomed luxury and success.
Leo was a very gifted football player. He would play good all the time, but when he played outstanding is when he was mad. And we would have to make up stories about the other players, what they were saying about his family or some of the silly type thing. And he would get really upset with things like that. That guy did this, Leo, and he said this about you, and you know, and then Leo said, I'm gonna kill that guy. Even though he was big, he was very easygoing. And you really had to get him riled up, and his boiling point was very low. And once it was ignited, though, watch out. He was a terror.
We have here Jaden Daniels, and man, he's having a nice rookie season. Tops now. Here's a Myles Garrett rookie. Now, Myles Garrett here holds a distinction. He's the only man ever in the NFL to beat a man over the head with his own helmet and then win Man of the Year for it. Man of the Year. For being such a good person.
Beyond words, Joe.
Oh, gosh, that's one of the worst things I've ever seen on a professional sports field.
Man, you would have gotten banned from football in the old days if you beat a guy over the head with a helmet. All right, here is this is a postcard of Ralph Kiner. I'll show you the back first. Unfortunately, that stamp this was glued into an album. And you can see the 4 places it was glued, and it took part of the stamp with it, which I'm sad about, but it's a great postcard. I love these postcards that got mailed. To me, it makes them extra special, but PSA doesn't like them. Like, the PSA, they're junk. They're going to get a 1. This is an old postcard from the early 1900s. And this thing's so cool. It's like a die-cut image of a ball player. And this is Jimmy Collins. And I have some National Bank cards from 1960 of the Tacoma Giants. Matty Alou, pre-rookie card. And the biggest card in this set is the Juan Marichal. And my man Rick over at Vintage Oddball Cards, Rick the Flipper, he snaked one from me at the first National I went to when I wasn't looking. I was going to buy it, but Rick snaked in there and got it. Just like he did with the Louis Tiant Sr. Cuban card. And then he turned around and sold it to Picker Jim. Didn't even ask me. Jose Pagan. He played for my Pittsburgh Pirates and was on the 1971 World Series team. Did pretty well there, too. In the World Series. These are pretty hard to find. I've been looking for that Juan Marichal since that National 3 years ago. Still haven't found one.
These are definitely rare.
So that tells you a little something. And I need some help, guys. I'm so mad at myself. I forget what these are. I know they're rare. But these are like poster premiums. And I got these years ago. And I went seeking them because I discovered this rare premium set. And I cannot remember for the life of me who the issuer is. You got Johnny Unitas. And Bubba Smith. Which leads me to believe that these may be a regional. For some reason, they're not High C, I don't think. They could be. High C had some other rare posters, and they're more like cutouts of I don't know. I haven't seen one in person, but they don't look like posters. They look almost like a advertisement or newspaper cutout kind of thing. And these aren't those. I want to say maybe Lipton or a drink company. I'm totally drawing a blank, and I've been texting everybody, and I text Stook, and if Stook doesn't know, I don't know who else to go to, man, if he doesn't know. Do any of you know? Anybody from Baltimore may have had these? Trying to identify them. I'm going to write it back here so I never forget again. And I just have some random cards. I like to show random cool-looking baseball cards every once in a while. And this is 1998 Topps Vlad Guerrero. And a Jim Edmonds, too, from that set. You know, Jim Edmonds, I just love to watch him play center field. And that's just a classic kind of a catch he made routinely. So that's what I have for you. If anybody knows what that is, check out my man, Brent Richards. Brent Richards.
Okay, I'm just busting your chops. I bust everybody's chops. I can bust all kinds of chops.
That's what I have for you. Thanks for hanging out with me.